Reading The Wind in the Willows by Graham Webb. I accidentally messed up the last one. I'm very sorry. We started on the wrong page and I realized it last minute. So we are back where we need to be. Please forgive me. I hope you guys come back. Anyway, let's re-begin. Again, I'm sorry. Okay. To his horror, he recollected that he had left both coat and waistcoat behind him, in the cell, and with him the pocketbook, money, keys, watch, matches, pencil case, and all that makes life worth living, and distinguished many pocketed animals in the Lord of creation from inferior one-pocketed or no-pocketed productions that hop, trip, and permissively unequipped for the real contest. In his misery, he made one desperate effort to carry the thing off, and with to a return his fine old manner, a blend of squire, the college don, he said, "Look here, I've left my purse behind. Just give me that ticket, will you? And I'll send you money on tomorrow. I'm well known in this parts." The clerk stared right at him, rusty black bonnet, in a moment and laughed. "I should think you're very pretty well known in these parts," he said, "if you've tried this game often. Here, stand away in the window. Please, madam, you're obstructing the passengers." The old gentleman, who had been prodding him in the back for some moments, here thrust him away. What was worse, addressed him and his good woman, which angered the toad anything that occurred that evening. Bat-filled and full of despair, he wandered blindly down the platform where the train was standing, and the tears trickled down each side of his nose. It was hard, he thought, to be the sight of safety and almost home, and to be balked by the want of the few wretched shillings, and by the pettifogging mistrustfulness of the paid officials. Very soon his escape would be discovered. The hunt would be up, but he caught the revealed loaded with chains, dragging back again to prison, bread, water, and straw. His guards and penalties would be doubled. And oh, that was sarcastic remarks of the girl that would make. "Oh, hi, how are you? Thanks for stopping by." If you're in the last one, I'm very sorry I messed the last one up. What was to be done? He was not swift of foot. His figure was unfortunately recognizable. He could not squeeze under the seat of carriage. He had seen his method adopted by the schoolboys, with the journey money provided by thoughtful parents had been diverted to other better ends, as he pondered himself opposite the engine, which was being oiled, wiped, and generally caressed by its affectionate driver, and burly man with an oil can in one hand and a lump of cotton waste in the other. "Hello, mother," he said from the engine driver. "What's the trouble? You don't look particularly cheerful." "Oh, sir," said the toad, crying afresh, "I am a poor unhappy washerwoman, and I've fallen lost all my money, and I can't pay back my ticket, and I must get tonight home somehow, and whatever am I to do? I don't know. Oh dear, oh dear." "That's the bad business indeed," said the engine driver reflectively. "Lost your money and can't get home, and got some kids too, waiting for you, dare I say. At any moment of 'em," sobbed the toad. "They'll be hungry and playing with matches and upsetting lamps, the little innocents, and quarreling and going on generally. Oh dear, oh dear." "Well, I'll tell you what I'll do," said the good engine driver. You, you're a washerwoman, and your trade says you. Very well, that's that. And I'm an engine driver. As well you may see, there's no denying it's terribly dirty work. Uses of a power shirts, and does till misuses fair tide of washing 'em. If you wash a few shirts for me, well, I'll take 'em home for you. And send them along. I'll give you a ride. Let's turn the page. Okay, sorry, I just had to have a drink of water. A ride in my engine. It's against the company's regulations here, but we're not so very particular in these out of the way parts. The toad's misery turned into rapture as he eagerly scrambled up into the cab of the engine. Of course, he had never washed a shirt in his entire life, and couldn't if he had tried. Anyhow, he wasn't going to begin with that thought. When I get home safely to Toad Hall and have money again in my pockets, I will send the engine driver to pay quite a quantity of washing, and that will be the same thing or better. The last one, I accidentally lost my place, Mr. Chris the Great of all time. And so I started laughing and I had to stop it and redo it. The honest truth. I was like, oh, poo. So that's where we're at. I was like a few pages behind by accident. Thank you. You're awesome. Here we go. Here we are. Okay. And the sympathetic friends and money to the chick in his pocket, and the soft bed to sleep in, and good things to eat, and praise and admiration and recital of adventurous and surprising cleverness. He began to skip up and down and shout and sing snatches of song, and great astonishment of the engine driver, who had come across the washerwoman before, at long intervals, but never one at all like this. They have covered many, many mile, and Toad was already considering what he would have for supper as soon as he got home, when he noticed that the engine driver was puzzled with expression on his face, and was leaning over on one side of the engine and listening hard. And then he saw him climb onto the coals and gaze out over the top of the train. Then he turned and said to the toad, "It's very strange. We're last train running in this direction tonight, and I have yet to swear I've heard another one following us." The toad ceased his frivolous antics at once. He became a grave, depressed, and dulled pain in the lower part of his spine, and communicating itself into his legs, made him want to sit down to try desperately not to think of the possibilities. By this time the moon was shining brightly, and the engine driver steadily himself on the coal could command a view of the line behind them for a long distance. Presently called out, "I can see it clearly now. It is an engine on our rails coming along at great pace, and it looks as if we were being persuaded or pursued." And the miserable toad, crouching in the coal dust, tried hard to think of something to do with the tinsel want of success. "They are gaining on us fast," cried the engine driver, and the engine crowded with the queerest lot of people. Men, accent wonders, waving halberds, policemen in their helmets, waving truncheons, and shabbily dressed men in pot hats, obvious, unmistaken plaincloths, detectives even at the distance, waving revolvers and walking sticks, and all waving at this, shouting and saying things. "Stop, stop, stop." Then the toad fell on his knees among the coals and raising his collapsed paws in a supplication cried, "Save me, only save me, dear kind engine driver, and I will confess everything. I am not a simple washerwoman that I seem to be. I have no children, no waiting for me. I am an innocent otherwise. I am a toad, the well-known and popular Mr. Toad, and I've landed proprietor. I have just escaped my great daring and cleverness from the loathsomest dungeon into the enemies had flung me, and those fellows on that engine recapture me. It will be the chains, bread and water, straw of misery for the poor, unhappy, innocent toad." Are you gonna do this live and then we do live? Yeah, let's do that. Let's figure out one together, definitely. Because I'm gonna do this every night. I've been reading The Wind in the Willows. And I'm gonna eventually navigate this into bedtime stories with CrispySkates in the next book. And so, but I think on this channel, or even on something cooler, like we should definitely do something for sure. And I have some ideas. We should communicate with that. It's just been a crazy few weeks for sure. But you guys, I love you with all my heart. And until tomorrow night, we will pick back up and keep it crispy. I'm sorry I messed up earlier. I love y'all. Take care.